style, talent and endurance. Bang, bang, bang of parliamentarians. Politics that encourage hate, making good folks discriminate. Bridges replaced by gates. Nurturing racism, prejudice and tribalism, multiculturalism. Why should I know? Marxism from the UNC and the BNM, COP and D. Political symphony, it's a symphony. With the TOP, MSJ and JC and D. Political symphony, it's a symphony. Stop taking it cool. Don't be played for a fool. They're using race as a tool to divide, conquer, and rule. Just to write their bull. The race can be always pull. Lead vocalists are sore throat. Keyboardists playing wrong notes. In this band of serial politicians, their lyrics not rhyming. Some have no sense of timing. In this band of parliamentarians, simply vote for the powerless, perverting the course of justice. Our democracy at risk. With a section called 24, music rap to the core, who arranged this score. So impure with the UNC and the BNM and the COP and the political symphony. It's a symphony with the TOP, MSJ and JC and D. Political symphony. It's a symphony. Corruption rebuff. Say enough is enough. The system will always fail. Once the big fish not making jail. No integrity, no morality. Notorious politicians, while Dr. Kubla singing is noise making and booing from this band of parliamentarians. Like a cult pushing one head, singing songs and heartless and tread, wishing for people to dead. With a big great and crowd audience, complimentary to cause disturbance and striking performance, arrogance with the UNC and the BNM, COP and the political symphony. It's a symphony with the TOP, MSJ and JC and D. Political symphony. It's a symphony. Check out the crime rate, the violence inflate, the bandits see us as mates, yet they're telling us to hold faith. Every night is a wake. How much more must we take? Song engineers stop kicking. Can you see that the mix need fixing? In this band to clench your fist. Stand up and insist. We can't continue like this. We'll end up in a crisis hall in one of the world. Let your voices be heard.
So it's not just me. It's not just me saying this. Calypsonians have been ringing this bell. Calypsonians that they've deliberately left out of the monarch and being able to bring their fear to the population and win. Songs that should have won. Every song that I play, every calypso that I play on my show should have won Calypso Monarch. I'll set a tata getting Tuco money, that is your money, that fed to the PNM feeding to Carnival, to Calypso. The Unified Calypsonians Association is a PNM party group. You all heard Banjela's song this year? The greatest calypso I have ever heard written. You all heard that song? Timely. That song we should have bought that song. We should play that song every single day, morning, noon, and night. People need to hear it. Bring it back. We need to know what. During World War II, now, Winston Churchill was a son of a bitch, yeah? And he was a stone cold killer. But when they came to him and they said they were taking money from the arts to put it to the war effort, he said, what were we fighting for? What are we fighting for? To the people who say that in this new setup are looking blacker, I can't answer that. But as get all kind of information, yeah, we will listen to bring it back later, Diane. The name of this video tonight is Nothing Personal. Nothing personal. And there's a reason the video is named Nothing Personal. I've become, I don't want to say bulletproof, but I've seen too many people floundering politically grab on to me. All you need to do is fight with Philip and get numbers. Attack Philip and hope the PEP members come and defend Philip and the PEP so that you could get numbers. Plenty of people have been doing that as the last bastion of the inane and the intellectually bankrupt. They bring nothing to the table. Nothing personal. So now, Afra Raymond and I sat on a round table together. He made his statement and he left, and that's cool. And I've been watching Afra. Now, the reason I'm bringing up Afra, I want to say this. I am a human being too. So when you attack me, regardless of how bulletproof I look and how strong I am, still I'm a human being. And if out of the blue, you attack me with no reason or no justification, because I can't understand where Afra and I have a problem. I still don't understand how Paulo Kernan and I have a problem. But I have been defending myself. I have been defending myself against people who are Kirkwaite. Kirkwaite and I used to meet. Kirk wanted us to be together in some mission. But all of these people, what they do is they meet me at the start and they say, yes, we want you in what we doing. But I am not a hitman for hire. I was never looking for people to link up with. The UNC get upset that I wouldn't join up with them. The PNM vex that I didn't run for Diego Martin Central. We can't just join with whoever and anybody. If you lose, like the Congress of the People, I was a member of the Congress of the People at the start. But when the Congress of the People lost its way, I publicly left. I came back with Vernon De Lima. End up choke up inside the UNC with Gary Griffith. Gary's my boy. When some of these people are worshipping Gary for being commissioner of police, they don't need to bad talk him. I was there defending him, telling them this man know what he's doing. But we have all of that. I have my track record there. But this video is called Nothing Personal because now you would probably assume I have a lot of good advisors. I have a lot of good people who talk to me on a regular basis that are guiding me. People who have a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience that have been molding me and guiding me. And I am a student of life and I am open to conversation. I'm open to anybody. And I tell people, You and I enemies today, we friends tomorrow, you know. I had no time to carry that. No time at all. I have taken the worst of human nature and forgive and move on. Because, to be honest, carrying hurt and anger just stresses your life. The people who do you wrong, they may taking you on. So the other day, out of the blue, Afro Raymond started to attack me, and I don't know why. Just so. And tagging me in his attacks. And I had to defend myself. But one of my advisors said to me this morning, and then somebody else who I have the greatest respect for said to me this evening, you need to realize that these people and their attacks don't hurt you politically. And that you have every right now to ignore them. To ignore the attacks. Just ignore it. Go and look at the people attacking you and see what type of traction they get. They only get mileage when you, Philip, respond. I watched a former radio host last night host a whole video about me and then telling everybody why the UNC is the solution, and PEP members questioning him on his live to defend his position, and he couldn't. And everything is cult this and rah rah rah. So I want to tell the PEP members again, all them Lagahu and Zandoli that want to come and make their name and get their mileage attacking PEP and Philip, leave them. Leave them. Don't go and fight their little following. Leave them. Leave them. Because there's nothing to be gained fighting with people. And I'm realizing there's more and more. There's nothing to be gained fighting with people who have abdicated the use of reason. If you have abdicated the use of reason, I'll tell you something. I have publicly backtracked on situations. I have changed my position when more information was made available, but that's following in the steps of people like Hawkins and Einstein and Galileo. When you learn new stuff, your knowledge base increases and you come up to that. You can't decide to lock people in on what their knowledge was limited to at a time. There was a time you were dribbling on yourself, pissing in your pants and couldn't walk. Should that be the line in the sand? No. It's a constant learning. A constant learning. I want to come to this issue though, because we have to hold one. We have to hold one. Kurt Allen just sang, and it's a fact. The system will always fail once the big fish not making jail. Now you need to understand this. 2 members of the PNM have engaged in reprehensible behavior where their property and the state is concerned, conflict of interest at the very least, misbehavior in public office at the start. Faris Al-Rawi and Rohan Senanan. Now, there's a lot of things going on in the country. There's a lot going on, and you really can't take your eye off all the moving parts, because you need to be able to say, we speak to this, we speak to that. And unlike my haters and my attackers, and you know what I want to ask the PEP supporters and the Philip supporters to do? Just do this. When they come out and they tell you all that wrong with everybody, tell them, okay, what do you suggest? What do you suggest? What do you suggest that we do? What? But let's come back to Rohan Senanan, Faris Al-Rawi. Rohan Senanan, as Minister of Works, if the Ministry of Works is responsible for the QREP interchange, Rohan Senanan, it is not enough to recuse yourself from the meeting. It is not enough to recuse yourself from the conversation. As a property owner that wants to do that level of business with the state and taxpayers' funds, you were supposed to recuse yourself from the cabinet and stand down from your ministry. You were supposed to become a citizen once again, doing business with the government. But from the moment you don the hat of minister, speaking for public funds and directing those public funds your way, it starts to be wrong. That's where the criminal act starts. And we are pursuing the information surrounding the purchase of K. Donner lands from Rohan Sinanan and friends to contrast and compare it with all of the purchases made per square foot of every other house and property around. Now that's just one position, because we want to contrast and compare and see if favoritism took place. Not that that is important, but we want to be able to identify and pivot from there where the PNM government came at this situation. Now, you all know, UNC don't like me at all, and I'm happy about that. I'm happy that every single UNC minister sees me as the enemy. I want them to see me as the enemy, because I know a lot of them are criminals that are only walking around free, enjoying the fruits of their criminality, because there's never been a government to properly ensure that justice is done in this country. But there is a chance that the Progressive Empowerment Party could form the government, and I want them to hear me say, it would be better for you and for all involved that you come back and give back the money. Just come to us and say you believe that you ended up with a 200 million that you shouldn't have. Look it back. Because you see, if you don't bring it and give it back, we're going to pursue you. And when we pursue you, there is going to be a cost. We are going to have to tell forensic accountants, investigators, and headhunters there is a piece of that money that you are entitled to, but we want back our whole 200 million or whatever you're owing this country. So you will end up paying the cost to flee and then paying the cost to pursue you and still have to bring back our money. So before it have to come to that, don't race to Piaco if the Progressive Empowerment Party wins. Don't race to Piaco. Race to the bank. Call and say, I know we owe you, we owe the state. We've wrongfully, as a collective, taken $1 billion. We've chipped up, we have 400 million, look at here. And in the next 2 years, we plan to make $100 million a month deposit till we pay off the debt. That's good, and we'll accept that. We'll accept that because we want all our money back. We want all our money back. We want it hanging on your wife's ears, around her neck, in her closet. We want it back. Where your children going to school, driving Ferrari, living like daddy, successful. We want that back too. And we'll embarrass and shame you globally. We want our money back because you're a crook and a criminal. We want our money back. All of you, former ministers, former prime ministers, your inheritors, we want our money back. Come back to Faris Al-Rawi. Because Rohan Sinanan, as a government minister, there is a conflict of interest. Rohan Sinanan, as a cabinet minister, there is a serious conflict of interest. Rohan Sinanan, as line minister, that is a criminal act. And we need to action that. And if you do not have a government today that can action, if Keith Rowley does not fire Rohan Sinanan, then you have to assume that Keith Rowley is part of the conspiracy and treat him as a co-conspirator after the fact. That means if your prime minister, who is responsible for appointing Rohan Sinanan as Minister of Works and by extension is responsible for all of Rohan Sinanan's acts, if that prime minister does not action when Rohan Sinanan does wrong, then we have to assume the prime minister is part of the criminal activity. Come to Faris. I want to show you why Faris worse. Because according to our constitution, We only need 2 people to form a government. All them 92 ministers Kamala had, we didn't need. You only need 2 people to form a government, you know, Prime Minister and Attorney General. According to the Constitution, once you have a Prime Minister and an Attorney General, you're in business, run the country. So that means that the Attorney General is the Minister of the Attorney General and the Minister of Legal Affairs. The Prime Minister is the Minister of everything else. Everything else. Neither the Prime Minister nor the Attorney General can ever recuse themselves from a government transaction. When the government of Trinidad and Tobago rented property from the Attorney General engaged in a lease, the fact that the Attorney General resigned as a director 3 weeks before the lease was signed doesn't change the fact that he is married to the person whose name the property is in, and he is the Attorney General. All deals, all leases, everything that was transpiring through Mona, Nahus, and family had to be ratified by the Attorney General's office. Every transaction that the state is involved in, it is involved in it legally through the person of the Attorney General. Faris Al-Rawi's conflict of interest is criminal. We need today to insist that Faris Al-Rawi be removed as Attorney General, that the lease for number 3 Alexandra Place be quashed, and that a public investigation be launched into the terms and conditions and everything surrounding that lease to identify if Faris Al-Rawi as Attorney General committed criminal acts, and if he did, to prosecute him to the fullest extent that the law allows. That is how the democracy is supposed to work. If we're not doing that, if we are not insisting on that, if you black and PNM and picking your bandits, and you Indian and UNC and defending your bandits, the democracy will fail. Your children and your grandchildren will eat mud because of your foolish decisions. The country is listing. It is floundering. Our debt burden is greater than our ability to earn income. We are in trouble. We did not need that building. We could live without that building. Faris and family took advantage of the fact that Faris is in government and engaged, because they did it before. They did it before under Manning. This one worse. This one is worse. But the fact that Kamala Prasad, the assessor of the UNC, is the one that brought this information in public space, she's a blasted hypocrite. A hypocrite. Because it is the UNC under Kamala Prasad, the assessor, that had legal responsibility to jail Faris Al-Rawi for 1 Alexandra Place. But she took no action. She took no action at all. Because Chandrish Sharma, Kamala man of business, realized that the PNM committed a crime. That Patrick Manning signed a lease, a binding lease, with a private family for a property when Patrick Manning was no longer the Prime Minister. The Parliament was dissolved. He had no authority to sign. Nobody in government had the authority to sign. Faris Al-Rawi, as a lawyer and an officer of the court, is fully well aware that Patrick Manning had no authority to sign, yet they signed it. That's crime 1. 2. They signed a lease that they built in onerous terms and conditions for breaking the lease to make sure that whoever come into office, because Manning was no longer Prime Minister and the PNM was out of government, but they were making sure that whether the PNM won or not, Faris Al-Rawi and the Nahus family were going to benefit from the state renting 1 Alexandra Place. But this is the problem. Where that lease is concerned, it was fraud. Because the building wasn't finished. And it wasn't ready. It wasn't habitable. And it had no approvals. The building itself that was leased to the state was a fraudulent act by the Nahus family. Through Faris Al-Rawi, attorney at law, committed fraud to rent the state a building that it could not use. Understand this. When Chandra Sharma realized that, Chandra Sharma awarded contracts to finish and outfit that building beyond the scope of the minister, beyond the terms and conditions of the lease. Another $73 million spent on a property we did not need and could not use. The Guardian newspaper wrote on May 8, 2016, under the headlines, "A can of worms from rental to outfitting." Now, this is a Guardian article, 2016. We've known about this since 2009. No action has been taken by no office of state to bring the Nahus family and Faris Al-Rawi to justice. So what we have now are criminals prospering in Trinidad and Tobago. It is a matter which former PP Housing Minister Rudal Monilal has regrets about. In hindsight, if we had to do it over again, we should have ended the rental agreement in 2010 or within a year at least. It's a pity we couldn't close the issue, Monilal said on Thursday. He was referring to the People's Partnership / UNC's continued renting of One Alexandra Place, which remained unoccupied for 5 years despite $48 million in rent paid by the state to a private property owner, the Nahus family, between 2009 and June 2015. It's also a matter which caused former UNC local government minister Marlene Kudry headache, which she said led her to try and end the local government's ministry's rental of the building. And it's now, and this is where it connected to Hazel Manning. Because if you remember, Madam Breakfasts was made Minister of Local Government and she was involved in this bacchanal. All these hands clean and pure heart stunters that want to pretend for you. In the 2016 budget debate, PNM Rural Development Minister Franklin Kahn said the building hadn't been occupied since 2009. Although outfitting costs were added. This is in the 2016 budget debate. More money was spent renting this building from Faris Al-Rawi, aka Johnny Sukaran, his wife Mona, and her brother Michael and family Nahus. More money was spent renting this incomplete, unfinished, untenantable building from the Nahus family than it cost to build it. Understand? The state could have bought Max Awan's abortion clinic itself, thrown it down, and built One Alexandra Place for less money than we rented it from the Nahus family. And I want Michael Nahus to keep standing up and defending this bullshit, because he is wrong at every turn. And to tell me that they could have gotten more money in the private sector is bullshit, underlined by the fact that they built another one next door and entered into another lease with the state. I am no longer accepting Michael Nahus's version of events. In the 2016 budget debate, PNM Rural Development Minister Franklin Kahn said the building hadn't been occupied since 2009. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 7 years that we paid a rent for this gleaming middle finger on the corner of Alexandra Street and Tragate Road. And not one person brought to justice. Not one office of state saying, wait a freaking minute. Because I said in 2010, put the homeless in one Alexandra Street. We need somewhere for something to happen there. He claimed, Franklin Cann, a $71.1 million outfitting contract was awarded under the PP government, UNC, which was being reviewed by the Solicitor General Office for advice, moving forward and onwards, transmission to some law enforcement agency. Now that's 2016 budget. We are in 2019. What came out of that investigation into Chandresh Sharma and the $71.1 million contract he awarded and paid for work that was never done? To which law enforcement agency, Franklin Cann, was that forwarded? Which one? To who? DPP? Commissioner of Police? Who did you send it to? Or is the investigation into Chandresh Sharma's illegal activities in Faris Al-Rawi, Mona Nahu's illegal building on a P&M illegal lease still ongoing? Spokesman for the contractor disputes Cann's figures, said legal notification has been sent to the government to complete payment. The people who were contracted to outfit the building didn't outfit the building and were owed money on the original contract they sued the state for. Like when Anil Roberts under the United National Congress Kamala Prasad Bisesa government paid Adolphus Daniel $17 million for an e-beam contract. We don't even know what the hell that was under live sport. And then Mr. Adolphus Daniel, who did nothing, came and said, you're not owing me another $17 million. It was $34 million. And they got legal advice that said, even though Adolphus Daniel did nothing for the $34 million, was paid $17 million already, the state had no alternative, no option but to pay the other $17 million. This is a nation being gang raped by lawyers and contracts. That is what is happening. And the Law Association is silent on a body and a group of professionals that are supposed to be ethical at the very least. Because if the public stops believing in the rule of law, the democracy collapses. If we stop believing in the sanctity of justice, anarchy will reign. What holds the nation together is the belief that at some point, right will win. Asked about the future of the building last Friday, this is 2016, Cann said it may be used, but noted that the public administration deals with allocations. Public Administration Minister Maxi Coffey, meanwhile, said no more rent was being paid on the building. I refuse to believe that. The report, Auditor General report, stated that $47,813,000, $544.78 in rent was paid between 2009 and 2015. The Nahus family ate wrapped cabbage rolls and grape leaf and kibi paid for with state money, while little Beatum and Laventil and Selot's children full in the belly with mud. Because the country is broken, our money is being plundered by political opportunists. Nothing that I am saying here is personal, but it is indecent and obscene of the Nahus family that this continues. It is indecent and obscene of the Nahus family to enter into another lease with the state, knowing the history of one Alexandra place, to build a building next to it and engage in another questionable lease, means that Faris Al-Rawi, also known as Johnny Sukaran, and the Nahus family needs to be treated as a gang. They are not interested in anything else but seeing what they could take from the state for themselves under whatever circumstances. But I'm asking this. The PNM entered into this fraudulent contract with Faris. And the UNC, under the suddenly pious Kamala, did nothing to protect the people. The suddenly righteous Kamala didn't take Manning to court and Faris to court. The suddenly idea, focus, driven, want to come and fix the country Kamala allowed one Alexandra Place. She knew Chandra Sharma up close and personal. She was the prime minister of the country. The issue was being talked about publicly, and she was aware. And she watched her government engage in a criminal act to advantage and build on and exploit a PNM criminal act. When the PNM and the UNC join forces and work together, Trinidad loses. Our parliament has been our undoing. They gather in there and in the cabinet of the government to plan how to plunder this nation. So when they tell you who hands clean and whose heart pure, ask them to explain 1 Alexandra Street. Explain it. Explain how Hazel Manning, Patrick Manning, Faris Arawi, and the Nahus family could engage in fraud, and in less than a year, Kamla Prasad Bisesa, Anand Ramlogan, Rudal Monilal, Surud Rambachan, Tim Gopi Singh, Fuad Khan, and others come to government, form the government. And after all the bacchanal, and all the old talk, and all the mark that bust, we still spent over $100 million on a building that we did not need and could not use. We are at a point, Trinidad and Tobago, where you have to ignore the bullshit artists and insist on facts. When that talking head last night said, nobody can tell him what Kamala do wrong yet, I want him to know that Section 34 was an abuse of every high office in this state, was a jailable offense, and everybody from Kamala come down were to be charged. Section 34 that she pretended only Herbert Valdi was involved in, she took in the dead of night on a long weekend to the president's house to have it proclaimed as law in secret. And the only people who knew, and the only people who were able to act on Section 34 to claim relief wasn't the 10,000 little black hen chicken that they use in the parliament to say them in jail too long. We need a law to free them. They weren't told. The only people who knew, who were standing outside the courthouse door with this freshly proclaimed law, were the lawyers for Ish and Steve and the airport 9, 11, and 13. All gone to seek relief under Section 34, a law that accidentally omitted to include white-collar crime, despite the fact that the Director of Public Prosecutions told them it was missing. So if you, tonight, still thinking lesser evil, neither of them less evil, the PNM and the UNC as political organizations are intrinsically evil. And until Kamala Prasad Bisesa could account for live sport, 1 Alexandra Place, and the proclamation of Section 34 as law. There is nothing she has to say that anybody needs to hear. We need a forensic investigation to find out if a $25 million bullet payment was made from Royal Castle to legal luminaries inside the UNC to get Ish and Steve off for Piarco Airport. In a country where every single crime that was committed is known to the public, yet there is no action taken against any of the offenders. Tonight, the members of the UNC should be calling for Kamala's resignation on Section 34 live sport and 1 Alexandra Place. But forget that. Bigger fish to fry. PNM in government, I accept that. Jail Faris, arrest and charge him for fraud as the Attorney General. He knew better. He's an officer of the court and a lawyer. He's supposed to know better. And all of the co-conspirators, charge them too. At the very least, Mr. Prime Minister, remove Faris Al-Rawi from the office of the Attorney General. He is bringing it into disrepute by his criminal behavior. As of now, tonight, we have an Attorney General who engaged in criminal self-enrichment and a Chief Justice under the most heinous of allegations and accusations. A Prime Minister with responsibility for actioning both, doing neither, because his name, calling in banditry and bacchanal too. None of this is personal. All of this is national. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we don't have to riot. We don't have to burn tires. We just need to wake up, stand up, and speak up. We need to be ready with our vote. We need to come out in our numbers and stand up for justice. This Saturday at noon, there is a public meeting at 19 Stanmore Avenue in Port of Spain. You can attend that. There will also be one at Barataria, 10th Avenue Barataria, and 137 Manahambre Road, St. Madeleine. So no more can you make an excuse. And in 6 weeks, we will be opening Tampuna Road, Arima. No more can you make an excuse that you don't have an option because you have a real political option. There is no better political alternative in this country than the Progressive Empowerment Party. None. There is nobody speaking to you out there has the wealth of knowledge and fact that we bring to the table. Our plans, programs, and policies will redevelop Trinidad and Tobago. And everybody who listens to this video understands the professionals in this country that can't speak out are sending me information. Today I get pictures of people sitting under a cowshed in St. James. Elders, seniors who paid with their whole life, paid their share of Trinidad and Tobago. You put them on a cowshed, no air conditioning, a fan. $5 billion spent every single year on public health, $50 billion under Kamala and Rowley alone, $120 billion under Manning, Pandey, Kamala, Rowley, enough money, $120,000 million. We could build New York City. Where that money gone? Who get it? This is not personal, but we need to know. We need to know. We need a government in office that will get all of that money back. I am telling Trinidad and Tobago publicly, internationally, put me in the parliament. I will go and visit Justin Trudeau with CNN in tow. Leave CNC3 and TV6 behind here to look for buck. I go in with MSNBC and Fox that a Prime Minister, Dr. Eric Williams, and his cohorts stole enough money from our treasury that Johnny O'Halloran could build this. And I am going to tell Justin Trudeau that building belongs to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and we want it back. It is time, it is past time that we wake up and demand it better.
Sweet island gets so bitter. Low salary, but cost of living gets higher. We inhumane behavior. Things don't turn upside down. Smiling faces becomes a frown. Guns the law, we now live in fear. People no longer seems to care. My heart is filled with pain and agony. I see a man begging for mercy. They rub him and they shoot up his body. I can't take no more.
Listen to this song and tell Tuko answer for their decisions in the judging for this year's Calypso competition. They robbed this man, Adelan Brave Boy. They robbed him. This was a criminal act by Tuko. Listen to this song and tell me when last you hear a song. You could have been blind and deaf and judging that competition and still pick this song.
I pray for we say sweetie auntie, bring it back. Land of the milk and honey, bring it back. Sweet family, the way that it used to be, like long ago. What was mine was yours too. Bring it back. Peace and harmony, my red, white and black country. Tell me who to save. Each day on that takers. Dig new graves. Wailing and burning is your new band launching. New sizes of boxes we measure it. Nearly your household you're hearing and morning. Live horror movie in Trinbago now show.
Live horror movie in Trinbago now show it. Who writing lyrics like that? Where you hear that in a Calypso? Them judges in Tuko, charge them. They take pride.
Like a long ago, what was mine was yours too. Bring it back. Peace and harmony, my red, white and black country. Oh, 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 oh. I'm pleading with you. I'm pleading with you, Lord. Bring back the nation. Oh, oh. Like his blood and crime take over. The rich are all feeling the pressure. People die like flies, yet we fight. What would it take for us to unite? Look how we children them going astray. And the hold on to faith each day. So all who hear my message and plain dumb, many go pay in time to come. So all the innocent lives they taking, the mind and the souls they corrupting. Everything has a price to pay on a great, great judgment day. Sweetie auntie, land of the milk and honey, sweet family, the way that it used to be, like long ago. What was mine was yours. Peace and harmony, my red, white and black country. Take on and lift up this island. I place my situation in your hand. You can create and you can destroy. Please turn our sorrows into joy. Forgive us, Father, we have sinned. Turn back the soul, oh Lord, I'm pleading. Change the hearts of the wicked ones. Guide and protect all your daughters and sons. Through this perilous times, I know with you on board, blessings will flow.
This song so good. He was supposed to be able to sing that song for the next 3 years and win every year. Don't change a word. That song so perfect. Everything about that song. The arrangement, the lyrical content, the message. What you wanted again? What did you want? Tata. Give them money for Tata. Fool black people. Tell them there's your art form. There's your culture. Whose culture? Whose culture is Balize? Whose? Suffering people? Eating from dustbin? Living in the beat-up? Crossing the highway to dig up in people garbage? 56 years, PNM representing them and telling them you care? Care, my red ass? Care? Trinidadians, last time we closed the video and we asked a question. You're not tired? You're not tired of it? You're not tired of the no water? You're not tired of the traffic? You're not tired of the fear, the crime when you're out your house, crime when you're in your house? You're not tired of the fact that 70% of our schools fail? You're not tired that $5 billion being spent on public health, but we're lining up our seniors from 7 in the morning, giving everybody one appointment, 7 o'clock, and line them up whole day under a cowshed? You're not tired of the cost of living, the money that you're earning? I told people in Trinidad and Tobago, when you know your government working for you, do this cost comparison. If you dig in a hole for a living in Trinidad and Tobago on the side of the road, and you're making $15 an hour, and you dig in a hole on the side of the road in America for $15 an hour, the difference in the two $15, same hole, same shovel, same hard-ass work, but the difference is the $15 in Trinidad can't buy nothing. $15 in America could buy meals. It could buy you stuff. Our money, our economy is mismanaged. We are the 3rd wealthiest nation in the Western world and have so much potential to be more. Because per capita, we could be rich like America. All we needed was a government to put the people to work, to give them hope and opportunity, not URP and CPEP. And yes, we need public works to be done, but it should have been broken up by constituency and then by community to ensure that those unemployable could still have an opportunity to feed their family. But that's not what was done. And the CPEP contracts are owned by Fairways and Goodwood Park Living, financiers of the PNM and UNC, and then the people who actually doing the jobs getting paid a pittance, while the CPEP bill is billions of dollars. You're not tired of that. You're not tired of knowing that your last prime minister, your present prime minister, the prime minister before them, and the prime minister before that one too, that you have to fight and make excuse for them because you know they failed you in a country that should be running on autopilot, that should be so easy to run. It should be little problems to solve. We have 2 ferries running. What we could do in the middle, pour water taxi, make it a little easier. What we could do? How to make life a little better for Trinbagonians. What we could do, how we could develop Port of Spain so at night it's safe and it's clean and it's well lit, and all those like Lord Harris Square and Woodford Square, the bandstands, we could rent it out for $1 and let people come and sing and read poetry and spread out some chairs and let people have something to go for family entertainment. Why are we not having those conversations? Why are we living in despair? You're not fed up that everything is a panic, nothing working, you don't know how to get it to fix. You're afraid to talk because you're afraid to lose your little job. Because if you lose your little bit of job, your life worse. So you have to hush and take jam from failed politicians whose only claim to fame is that they successfully ganged up on you and used the law against you. Why not flip that script? Why not put your own champion in the parliament and see if all of them that did all that wrong don't cry big tears and hold their head and ball? Why don't try that for a change? Rather than talking about who thief less, why are we not talking that nobody should be thieving at all? Why are we not trying to run the country to the highest instead of negotiating which is the least of the lowest? The fact that Clarence Rambarat, who is the current Minister of Agriculture, said that the PNM and the UNC are so bad at the next election. He said this in 2010, that the next election would be to see who less worse. And then he chose a side and jumped in with the PNM. And he's been there for 4 years and has done nothing of value to reduce the cost of living or to make Trinidad food independent. You see, a progressive empowerment party government, every minister that has a portfolio will have a mission. So you will understand the entirety of the mission of government. The Minister of Food Production will have one mission: to make Trinidad food self-sufficient, food independent, lower the price of food. The Minister of Education will have the responsibility to abolish the SEA, make all schools 10-year schools, and make all schools with the application of a GPA, all schools can become prestige schools, so none of our children are left behind. The Minister of Health will have to decentralize healthcare to 41 accident and emergency 24/7 clinics, so that you could never not be within easy reach of an emergency care with dignity and respect. Every one of those ministers, the Minister of the Economy would have a responsibility to decentralize the country. So we're not hoping and praying for the rising price of oil and gas that other things will be bringing in money. The Minister of Public Utilities will have a responsibility to break up WASA into 41 parts, so that every constituency will have a water-making, water-holding company with the responsibility for catch, gather, seek, find, hold, treat, and distribute water. Because that's your job. That's your job. If you are managing the nation's water and you cannot manage the nation's water, you're failing at your job. Every single minister, social development and management, will be responsible for leading a massive social intervention in the hotspots, in the at-risk communities. Our job must be, as a government, like a rising tide, to lift all boats. We must make sure that we set a baseline under which none of our people fall. So when we say zero deposit, zero interest for first-time homeowners, up to $1.5 million, it will take from the minimum wage earner. There are middle-class people in this country working in banks that can't afford a home, that dealing with other business people in the millions of dollars, but their money can't earn them a life. This is not a country where your child could come of age, meet a significant other, fall in love, get married, buy a home, raise a family. It doesn't allow for that. The governments of this day and the last government, the last 4, none of them had a vision for the people. We talk about diversification into cruise ship tourism at the level that will give you a target of 1 million feet on the ground in Tobago every year. You put 1 million feet on the ground in Tobago every year, it brings $1 billion into the economy. $1 billion, all of a sudden, on the ground, in the hands of the goat racers and the goat herders and the Tobago wedding planners and the small guest house and the rental company. And no longer you have to go and sell your firstborn to the THA and pledge your life to be black forever, because as long as THA own you and pay you, you're a slave. You need a government to have a vision for Tobago. And we said, the price of a brick, block, and banana must be the same in Trinidad and Tobago. If it's not, we fail. So you have to have a vision for the people. We talk about shipping turnaround in Trinidad and Tobago, port services. We spitting distance from the Panama Canal where 98% of all shipping pass. We are the only tropical destination outside of the hurricane belt. We are supposed to be leading the entire world in marine craft housing. Just that. Just housing them. You could be earning billions of dollars. When we talk about food self-sufficiency, we're talking about saving $5 billion US in foreign exchange a year. These are just simple, enunciated vision that this is where the country is going. The Minister of National Security has a job that within 6 months the nation's borders will be shut tight. Shut tight. Nothing in, nothing out that can be checked. Secure the nation. The Commissioner of Police under the Minister of National Security will have a responsibility to clean up the entire police force, the establishment of an internal affairs unit, to bring rogue and corrupt police officers to justice, clean them out of the system, and start to reward hard-working, honest, and decent police officers and give them the opportunity to make money. We say, put a $1,000 bounty on every illegal firearm and pay it to police officers. You find it, you bring it in like $1,000. The Prime Minister, Keith Rowley, said there are 30,000 guns. That's $30 million. Put it aside. We spend more money on stupidness than that. Put $30 million aside to take all the illegal guns out of the country. So when you come to hold up people, you come in with a slingshot. Because they have no gun. Because after the 3 months that we bring all the guns in, we will pass a zero-tolerance law that if you are caught with an illegal firearm, do not pass go, do not collect 200, straight to jail. Because we need to get ourselves into a position where you have a government that has an understanding of how the country should run, the needs of the people. The government's job, and I keep telling everybody that, the well-being of all the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago is the function, purpose, and reason of the cabinet, the parliament, and the government. Without the people's needs, there is no reason for government. So when Keith Rowley said, wean yourself off government, you should have fired him. You should have fired him. That's like hiring a maid in your house, and when you come home, the maid sit down on the chair, foot cock up, waiting for you to make dinner. Because wean yourself off my labor partner. That's what the government thought. That's what they thought. It is time that you elect a government that understands that when there are no jobs, the government fails. When there are homeless people, the government is failing. When you have drug-addicted vagrants walking through town, the government is failing. All of these things are the responsibility of the entity we call government. And not this government, not the last government, the two before, not one of them have enunciated plans for the people at that level to make sure that you set targets of 100% literacy, 100% employment, 100% home ownership. Who want a job that have a job. It is our intention, the Progressive Empowerment Party, to turn the nation's jails into trade schools and universities. No matter what you go in jail for, you're coming out better. You can't sit down there whole day. You're in class. You're in jail, you're in class. Whole day, learn to grow food, pick something. Pick something. You can't sit down and do nothing. Learn a craft, learn a trade, get your degree, get your doctorate, come out of the people's jail better than you went in, able to have a life. We want to transform the jails of Trinidad and Tobago into something that you don't release people from, you graduate them from. So even though the judge send you there with 30 years to serve, if you get your degree, we take some time off. You get your master's, we take off some more time. And if you get a doctorate, we open the door. Because somebody who is capable of achieving their doctorate is a different person than the ignorant, uneducated person without a choice that ended up in jail in the first place. You send that person back in their community as a positive ripple and change society. We are talking about an elders' council that gives the retirees a chance to contribute at the level they want. Make classrooms available for them to teach schools. You want to still be an entrepreneur? Charge people at $10 or $15 or $20. Come and sit down and listen to you talk. Give them the benefits of your wisdom, your knowledge, your experience. We want to do an activist council so that the animals activists, Joel begging for something, the Progressive Empowerment Party has an animal bill of rights that we will pass into law and amend it to the Constitution that will protect farm, domestic, and wild animals from neglect and abuse. We need an environmental bill of rights that will tell you they have a 60-40 green space law, that if you build in, 60% of it remains green. We want to eradicate things like styrofoam, and if you're going to use plastic bottles, we will redirect the plastic waste into construction. And charge the manufacturers and importers of plastic bottles 25 cents at the manufacture or import stage, and pay that money to the indigent and the unemployable to collect those plastic bottles and bring it in and get paid. So you don't have to beg no more. You can be a bottle collector and make good money. It is time that you turned your political conversation into what do you suggest? What do you suggest? Anybody that wants to take your time, take up your to talk to you, give you live videos, posting on Facebook and Rata Ray and Ratty Ray, no problem. But what do you suggest? Because if you just want to make old noise, you're barking for the sake of sound, and that don't help nobody. The Progressive Empowerment Party was formed because we believe if you say that the PNM and the UNC can't do the job, give us an option. Give us an alternative that can. I am not responsible for the actions of everybody who's gone before. I am only responsible for mine and the party that I lead. And this organization is built on the strongest people principles and ideology. We have a philosophy that leaves not one citizen behind. And if you want a better nation, if you want a better Trinidad and Tobago, join us. Promising your roads
and giving potholes.
Just as how you vote them in, register and vote them out.
Totally vote them out. Stick your finger and vote them out.
Rescue the country.
Vote them out with tempo. They happy in pain. Let's put our country together again. Vote them out with calypso
And joyous refrain.
Let's put our country together again. If their policy
Is a fallacy. Their bureaucracy, a catastrophe. If they cannot cope, and you see it so, then your only hope.
is for them to go. If it is fabrication, these statements that they spout, when you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is that frustration, does make you want to shout, when you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. Before they misuse us,
T-Phone sell out and gigs out.
yes, that you vote them in. Vote them out. Register and vote them out. All of them, vote them out. Stick your finger and vote them out. Them on the system, vote them out. Vote them out in Scarborough and in Port of Spain. Let's put our country together again. Vote them out in Komuto and in La Romaine. Let's put our country together again.
People must come first. Citizens by right. None are we here worse. Yellow, black or white. Food, shelter and clothes. Free movement and speech. A garden that grows. And one law for each.
If it is that injustice,
Is what they always show. When you're voting,
vote them out. Vote them out.
if it is that avarice is all they seem to know. When you're voting,
Vote them out. Vote them out.
if it is their politics, it's just a puppy show. When election day come,
All bandits must vote.
all of them,
Register and vote them out.
fire them,
If they don't see, vote them out. Stay
them and their system,
Show
their
them
friends,
out.
financiers and family members.
Vote them out with total
Black disinfectant, bleach and salt, clean house.
our country together again. Put them out of power.
Terminate their reign.
Let's put our country together again.
My advisors told me today the message is nothing personal. And from today, if you see me, because you know, all you know me, all you know, my blood a little close to my skin. I'm working on that. Because when you attack me, I just want to come at you like a lion. If you bite me, I'm going to bite you back. But if you see me responding to mosquitoes, pull me aside. Say, Phil, leave that. I'm telling you, if you see, but nothing personal. Strictly country first. 347-4PEP is our hotline. 347-4PEP. peptrinbago@gmail.com is our primary email address. peptrinbago@gmail.com. peptt.com is our website. peptt.com. We have a YouTube channel. Maya Khan or Felicia Holder will help you find that. We have an app, PEP, APP, free to download from the app stores. PEP app, PEP, APP. We have 4 offices, one in New York City, one at Stanmore Avenue, one at 10th Avenue, Barrett area, and one at 137 Manahambre Road, St. Madeleine. Trinidad and Tobago, you have everything laid before you right now. We've done the work. We've taken the hits. We take the abuse. We took all the character assassination, the defamation, the threats. We take all the old talk, all the bacchanal, and they fall away. We just want no weapon formed against us prospered. Not one. A lot of the people who have had the worst things to say are now coming back and courting and trying to soft, soothing words where they were only making bacchanal before, coming back with love talk. And I want to say, the door opens both ways. When you came in, you were welcome. When you left, that was your choice. If you want to come back, you're welcome again. However, if you abused what we were building, if you dirty the mat with your shoe and you ain't care where you spit, we will treat you like a stranger when you come back. The rules that govern the creation of this party is country first. That's why we're here. This is not about ego. This is not about looking for a work or a job or a chance to make a money. That's not happening under the PEP. And I say again, I've said before, any member of a political party, Progressive Empowerment Party government, that finds themselves running afoul of the law, you will stand and face the music on your own. We plan to be the example that erases the memory of that macabre statement by McCarthy in the PNM, all our teeth. We need to remove that jamming still and we like it so and all that nonsense. It's time to remove all of that from our national lexicon. Say, only remember when? Before there was a PEP, remember when politics was just old talk, bacchanal and noise? Look at our country. Look at our hills, look at our streams, look at our beaches, look at our valleys, look at the nation. Look at what we have. Look what we almost lost. The Progressive Empowerment Party wants to herald in a time of patriotism, love, service, community, culture. We want to go back to the Trinidad and Tobago that every other nation in the world jealous of, our niceness, our family, every creed and race living together in harmony. Muslim, Hindu, Christian, Baptist, everybody celebrating together. We have to get back to there. We have all the say. This Saturday at noon, 19 Stanmore Avenue, we will have our usual meet and greet. There will be a meet and greet in Barrett area for environs and in San Fernando. If you want to help the party, there are people who are asking on the live, I am in Pennsylvania, I am in England, I am in wherever, and you want to get involved, reach out to Felicia Holder, Shari Wilson, and talk to them about that. Those of you who want to come on board as caretakers and get involved in your constituency, building out your constituency, Shari Wilson, Michelle Davis, get in touch with them. They are leaders of the hubs and all of them. We will right size and bring all that to you. Get in touch with Shari Wilson and Michelle Davis and you can come on board as a caretaker in the constituency. Those of you who can help financially, our fundraising team, Felicia Holder as chairman, she has responsibility for the finance team, and she has the pep market team. They're doing real good work. Our next pep market is on the 7th of April. If you're a pep member or anybody who would like to come and rent a space to vend and sell to our crowd, you could come and reach out to Felicia, Lemma McLeod Wilkinson, Usha, Debbie Dean. Reach out to the crew. There's a nice food court. It's a Sunday. Turn down the pot and bring the family and come and lime. And that's our next fundraiser, which is on the 7th of April. Sangre Grande, we're coming. We said on Saturday when we finished in Barataria, our next meeting was 3 weeks hence in Sangre Grande. Keep spreading the word. We're coming Grande. Look out for us. We've promised and we're on the way. 6 weeks from now, we're opening Tumpuna Road Arima, which is the East Hub. Come down to that, mark your calendar. That is going to be an impressive time and an impressive line. We're having a fundraiser Easter Sunday night, a Back in Times party called Back to the 70s. And it's going to be a real good time, and all your pep friends and family are going to be there. And you know, we don't play when we politicking, and we don't politic when we playing. We're coming out to that to have a real good time. Come and join us. It's $200 a ticket. All of the funds go towards building your Progressive Empowerment Party, to pay for the radio shows and the soon to be coming TV shows, and all of these things that we do to inform, educate, and empower, help us build. Pays for these polo shirts that Satish Ramsaran and Lemma McLeod Wilkinson deal with and sell to the public. All of you who say all these shirts that look so nice that I wear, you can buy them. Just message Satish Ramsaran and you could have. Come on board, get involved. If you are in the capacity and you have the ability to make a donation to the party, write a check. Make a PayPal. Click it right now. Go on the PayPal right now and make a donation. $10, $50, $100, $1,000. If you want a better Trinidad and Tobago and you see people, listen, it's 2 years, 3 months, non-stop. We stopped counting. 120 public meetings in 2 years and 3 months. Every Saturday we meet. And now we're meeting in multiples of locations. Come on, you see, you know. Whatever is holding you back now is cognitive dissonance. Whatever is holding you back is misplaced loyalty. Don't blame your parents for supporting PLM and UNC. They didn't have a better option. You do. And what is amazing to me is how many of the elders have embraced the Progressive Empowerment Party. You would think they would have been the ones that most die hard, but they are the first adopters. Our elders have given me so much hope. They take the time. They take the time to call me, to message me, to write me. When they see me, they talk to me and give me guidance, give me advice, tell me about things about our country I didn't know. The better Trinidad and Tobago we want, we're working to build it every single hour of every single day. The team don't stop working. If you want a better Trinidad and Tobago, help us build it. Come on board with your time, your advice, your expertise, your vote, your contribution, your financial donation. Come on board. Join with us. It is a growing movement of civic-minded patriots, one people under one flag. We call it the Orange Army, the Orange Revolution, the political earthquake. We're coming to change it, and we're not coming small. And while we make a big noise, we want you to embolden. We want you to get strong, to realize the democracy belongs to you. The supreme law of the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago that speaks every office into being, the President, the Prime Minister, all of them, Chief Justice, all of them first recognize you. You are the reason there is a country. And all of those offices exist to serve you. Come on board and help us build the better Trinidad and Tobago that we always knew we always needed. One person at a time. Yeah? So until tomorrow morning, we're on the radio, 104.7 at 9 o'clock, between 9 and noon, tomorrow on 104.7. Make the time to tune in and join us. Until tomorrow, stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.